Good day and welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at a more uncommon John Deere tractor. This is John Deere's first four-wheel drive, the 8010. We're going to be taking a look at what this tractor offered, as well as comparing it to some other four-wheel drives that were on the market at the time. So why did this tractor not sell well upon release, but now brings record prices at auctions? Well, let's get into it. As the 1950s would wind down, John Deere's biggest tractor was the John Deere 830 diesel. This was a powerhouse on farms all across the nation, but John Deere knew that farms were getting bigger and the size of the tractor would also have to be increased. While the design and engineering of the John Deere new generation tractors was in full swing, it's said in the mid-1950s is when work on the 8010 began. And by 1959, John Deere would have a working prototype. These first style prototypes would feature a different style grille than the production ones would get. You'd see the headlights mounted above the grille, where the production ones you'd see a taller grille that covered the headlights. The 8010 occupied the production line from June of 1960 to March of 1961. With only 100 of these tractors being produced, it's no surprise they're a hard and rare find today. This articulated four-wheel drive tractor was powered by a Detroit diesel 671E. This six-cylinder diesel would have 425 cubic inches and turn out 215 horsepower, although it would only have 150 horsepower at the drawbar. One cool fact about these 71 series Detroits was they could come in a six-cylinder V formation or an inline six, and John Deere would use the inline version of this engine in the 8010s. This tractor could pull an 8-bottom plow that weighed in at 5,000 pounds at 7 miles an hour, according to Deere. This meant you could cover 50 acres of ground every day. These would be the biggest tractors John Deere had ever released up to this point, and would weigh in at 20,000 pounds. The transmissions is where we'd see major problems with this machine. So what went wrong in these transmissions? Well, the main problem was a transmission cooling issue. This would cause it to overheat, and an overheated transmission would cause seals to fail, which would let clutches get soaked in oil. Records show that in 1963, when the recall went into effect, 77 out of 100 were sent back to the factory. These machines would be updated and also re-lettered as 8020s. But it's said there's still one in existence that John Deere held onto and used at their harvester plant. This one had not been updated or recalled and is said to also be the first one that ever came off the line. Another thing that hurt the 8010 was the hefty price tag. They sold for anywhere from $27,000 to $30,000. With the new generation being announced in 1960, this 8010 was really an in-between between the old style 2-cylinders and the new generation. So what are some other four-wheel drives that were around at this time? Well, the first four-wheel drive that was available for the public was created in 1953 by the Wagner brothers. They had 3 different sizes and they called them tractor mobiles. There was also the versatile D100 and the G100. These tractors were popular because of the cheap price. International's response to the 8010 was the IH 4300 that came out in '61. Steiger would also put the Model 105 up for sale between 1961 and '63. Most of these four-wheel drives were ahead of their time and weren't farmer favorites upon release. With many of these 8010s being updated to 8020s, the 8020 was John Deere's biggest tractor up until 1964. The 8020s out there today are all rebuilt 8010s. The average asking price of one of these 8010s or 8020s today is roughly $100,000. John Deere would learn a lot from the 8010s and 8020s as they developed the 7020. But before the 7020 was released, they'd contract the Wagner Group to build the WA-14. These would be a short 2-year run before the 7020 would come out in 1971. And that's where we'll pick up in the next four-wheel drive video. So I'm curious if you've drove any of these early four-wheel drives and which one was your favorite. Let me know down in the comments. And anyways guys, I want to thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.